joyful song faded into a whisper. Gary the grasshopper found himself unprepared for the biting chill of autumn. The fields, once filled with abundance, now lay bare, and a gnawing hunger began to haunt his days. With each passing day, the cold intensified, and Gary's strength waned. He remembered the ants, whom he had once mocked for their tireless work. Now, desperation pushed him toward their hill. He approached their bustling home, heart pounding with a mix of fear and hope. The entrance to the ants' hill was abuzz with activity, even in the late hours of the day. With trembling legs, Gary knocked on the sturdy door of the ants' hill. The sound echoed in the quiet evening, and a brief hush fell over the bustling colony. Antonia, the ant, her face etched with concern, answered the door. Her eyes widened in surprise as she recognized the once boastful grasshopper standing before her. "Gary!" she exclaimed, her voice a mix of surprise and caution. "What brings you here on such a cold night?" Tears welled up in Gary's eyes as he confessed. "I laughed at you before, but now I am hungry and have nowhere else to turn." Antonia's expression softened with pity. She knew Gary's heart was good, despite his past foolishness. "Come in, Gary," she said gently. "No one deserves to suffer in the cold. We will share what we have." Gary stepped inside the ants' hill, his eyes widening in amazement. The tunnels were a labyrinth of activity, filled with ants carrying food, tending to their young, and reinforcing their home. Antonia led Gary to a cozy chamber, where other ants were gathered, sharing a meal of seeds and grains. He felt a warmth he hadn't felt in weeks. The ants offered Gary a share of their food, and he ate gratefully, his hunger slowly subsiding. It was the most delicious meal he had ever tasted. As Gary ate, Antonia sat beside him. "We are happy to help you, Gary," she said kindly. "But remember this lesson. Work when you can," she continued, "so you won't suffer later. We gather food in the summer to prepare for the winter." Gary listened intently, his heart filled with remorse. He realized the wisdom in Antonia's words and the folly of his past actions. "I understand," Gary said softly. "I promise to work next summer and prepare for the winter." Antonia smiled. "That is all we ask, Gary. We are always willing to help those who are willing to learn." The winter passed, and Gary stayed with the ants, learning from their diligence and resourcefulness. He helped with tasks around the hill, eager to contribute. Spring arrived, and the world began to awaken with new life. Gary felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Summer returned, and Gary kept his promise. He worked tirelessly, gathering food and storing it for the coming winter. He no longer laughed at the ants' diligence, but admired their wisdom and foresight. He had learned a valuable lesson. As autumn approached, Gary felt a sense of accomplishment. He was prepared for the winter, thanks to the ants' kindness and his own hard work. When the first snow fell, Gary was safe and warm inside the ants' hill, sharing stories and songs with his new friends. He had learned that forgiveness and kindness could inspire change, and that even the smallest creature could make a big difference. And so, Gary the grasshopper and the helpful ants lived in harmony, proving that kindness and hard work can create a brighter future for all. Cora, the cat, loved sunny days. She spent them napping, dreaming, sweet dreams, all by herself. One day, Cora overheard Barnaby the dog sighing sadly near the old oak tree. "My bones ache," he groaned. Cora remembered a story about helping others. She thought, maybe I could help Barnaby. Carefully, Cora jumped down and approached Barnaby. "Can I help you?" she asked softly. Barnaby was surprised, but grateful. "Could you fetch me some water? My bowl is empty." Cora dashed off. She found a small bucket and dipped it into the cool village well. Carefully, Cora carried the bucket back to Barnaby, not spilling a drop. Barnaby drank deeply. "Thank you, Cora. You are so kind," he said, wagging his tail. The next day, Cora saw Millie the mouse struggling to carry berries. Millie's basket was too heavy. Cora knew just what to do. "Let me help," Cora offered. She gently nudged the basket to make it easier to carry. Together, they walked to Millie's little house. The berries were safe and sound. Millie smiled. "Thank you, Cora. You are a true friend." Word spread quickly about Cora's kindness. The other animals noticed her gentle heart. Soon, everyone wanted Cora to be their friend. She was always ready to lend a paw. She helped fix Rosie Rabbit's burrow after a storm. It was cozy and dry again. She read stories to the little squirrels when their mother was away. Even the grumpiest badger smiled when Cora brought him flowers. Cora learned that helping others made her heart feel warm and happy. She still loved napping in the sun, but now she looked for ways to help each day. The village became a happier place, all thanks to Cora's kind heart. Cora remembered the verse, "Love your neighbor as yourself." She understood it now. Loving her neighbors meant showing God's love to everyone around her. And so, Cora continued to spread kindness, one paw at a time. Cora was the most loved cat in the village, and her heart was full. Meadow, nestled under a giant oak, was the bustling ant colony. Every ant worked tirelessly, gathering food and building their home, when suddenly a loud buzzing sound echoed through the entrance. Buzz, the mosquito, zipped into the colony with a boastful grin. "I'm here for my share. I fly faster than all of you combined, so I deserve the best crumbs," he announced loudly. Ari, ever the voice of reason, stepped forward. "Kind sir," he said. "In our colony, we believe food must be earned through hard work and cooperation." Buzz scoffed. "Work? Why work when I can simply take? I'm faster and smarter than all of you." Ignoring Aris' words, Buzz darted towards a pile of freshly gathered crumbs, his proboscis ready to snatch the sweet treats. But the ants were ready. Working together, they formed a line, blocking Buzz's path. "We will not let you steal what we have earned," Ari declared. Buzz, surprised by the ants' teamwork, tried to weave through the line, but they moved in perfect coordination, always blocking his way. Frustrated, Buzz buzzed angrily around their heads, trying to distract them, but the ants remained focused and determined. Realizing he was outmatched, Buzz tried a different tactic. "Fine," he said, feigning politeness. "I'll just take a few crumbs. What's the harm?" Ari shook his head. "Every crumb is important to us. We work hard to gather them, and we share them fairly among our colony." Enraged, Buzz dove again, aiming to knock the ants over and grab the crumbs. But the ants were too quick. The ants linked arms, or rather, legs, forming an unbreakable wall. Buzz bounced harmlessly off their united front. Defeated and embarrassed, Buzz hovered back, his wings drooping. "Fine. Keep your crumbs," he grumbled. The ants stood their ground, their message clear. Teamwork and effort were valued above all else. Buzz flew away from the colony, his stomach rumbling and his pride wounded. He hadn't eaten a thing. As the sun began to set, Buzz landed on a nearby flower, feeling weaker than he had ever felt before. He watched other insects working together to gather nectar and pollen, and a pang of regret struck his heart. Maybe, he thought, strength isn't just about being fast, but about working with others. Humbled, Buzz flew back to the ant colony, a different mosquito than before. He approached Ari and the ants, his voice soft. "I was wrong," he admitted. "Can I help in any way?" Ari smiled. "Of course, every pair of hands, or wings, is welcome. You can help us gather nectar from the flowers." Buzz eagerly accepted the task, using his speed to gather nectar quickly and efficiently. The ants and Buzz worked together, sharing their strengths and supporting each other, and the colony thrived. Buzz learned that true strength comes not from boasting or selfishness, but from teamwork and hard work. And so, Buzz the mosquito became a valued member of the ant colony, forever grateful for the lesson he had learned.